Hey, how's it going? My name is King Jowls or Jowls, and throughout Season 4 of Warzone, I've had my fair share of winning gunfights, and losing ones. But what I wanted to do with those losing gunfights was learn what skills the best players in the game possess, which allow them to win their gunfights more often than not. So to set you all up for success in Season 5, we're going to be breaking down 7 clips to reveal the 13 most eye-opening and sweat-approved gunfight skills that only the best Warzone players have. And if you learned something from this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. But with that, let's jump into clip number 1 and the first 3 sweat-approved gunfight skills. All right, so wasting no time at all, let's hit skill number 1 right out of the gate, which is knowing how to, whenever possible, engage from a power position. And this first skill is going to be demonstrated by a player by the name of Gunskillz. Anyway, in this clip, we start things out by taking out this player and completing a most wanted contract. And as you can see, immediately after, he lands right on top of my head on top of the gas station, which is his first usage of a power position in this gunfight. Now, as I'm not able to land the snipe on him as he drops in, I run to the gas station and back up a little bit to give myself some space. Now, as I come around the corner here, let's pause for a brief second to see if you can see Gunskillz. Spoiler, you can't because he's behind the most wanted crate icon. Now, this is exactly what I mean by playing from a power position. But before we resume things, how many of you would stay where Gunskillz is right here at this moment, behind the loadout crate where it's nice and warm and safe? I imagine many of you would, but watch what Gunskillz does here, because this is skill number 2, which is knowing when and how to apply pressure. Because even though he hasn't cracked me yet, he's immediately closed the distance trying to capitalize on the damage that he's done. And as I push into gas station, this is where we get into skill number 3, which is using just the right amount of movement and not overdoing it. And from this frame right here, I think you guys can already tell how this gunfight is gonna go for me. So as you can see, he hits me with a little slide cancel, a little camera action. And at this point, I'm low on health and I end up getting my body shot. But as we jump into the kill cam, we can see exactly what type of movement I'm talking about here. It's really nothing crazy. It's just a little fake behind the shelf and then a little fake behind the doorway. All he did was 2 little fakes, but from my POV, it put me in the absolute blender. All right, with that, let's go ahead and move on to clip number 2 and the next 2 sweat-approved gunfight skills. The man with the new contract dropping out of the sky here goes by the name of the Future TV. Since I can see him with his new contract here, I'm gonna go try to stop that, steal the contract, and do it myself. So as we push up on him here, what do you notice right away? Great movement here, just like Gunskillz, which keeps him alive. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to get the knock here, and I do get third party, so I go to reset the fight. And then as I push up to re-engage, I take this one other guy out, and I begin to look again for the Future TV. Now, I catch him just out of the corner of my eye, jumping into the water and going to grab the last element. Now, at this point, we're gonna fast forward a little bit to where the sweaty gunfight happens, which we're gonna break down step by step. So he hits the redeploy drone after getting the third element, and look at where he's landed. Really, he's not landing in a great spot, as it's low ground compared to where I am. And now my game plan going into this fight is that I'm going to be overly aggressive in this situation with the hopes of catching him off guard. Okay, so let's watch how this breaks down in real time. Then we'll wind it back and then watch the kill cam. So it was a close gunfight. So from the kill cam, he knows that I'm going to push up on him. So what does he do? He doesn't move. He doesn't throw smoke. He just pre-aims. And now this is where we get into sweat-approved skill number 4, which is that good pre-aim and or centering is essential. If this is something you're lacking, you're gonna have a tough time winning any gunfights at all. So anyway, he pre-aims the right, and then here I come flying over the rock. And watch this closely because this is sweat-approved skill number 5. When he starts hitting me with bullets, look at what part of my body he's hitting. He's hitting my feet, which is a low damage area. There's no headshot multiplier on your toes, right? Now this may have been intentional or just due to gun flinch, but either way, watch where his aim goes. From feet, straight to headshots, right? And he hits me with a couple of those while I'm in the air. Now, if he doesn't hit me with those headshots, I want to say it's pretty likely that I actually end up winning this gunfight. And just to show you how important centering is and how much just a little bit of better centering can make the difference in a gunfight, look at this comparison to where I'm centering to start the fight to where he's pre-aiming. So now we're only a couple minutes in and we've already covered 5 advanced skills for you guys to use during gunfights. So if you feel like I've earned your subscription at this point, just saying that every sub is much appreciated. But if I haven't yet, no worries. Let's see if I can earn your subscription here with the breakdown of the next couple of clips and skills. And I think I will, because these are some really good ones coming up. So all right, clip number 3 and sweat approved skill number 6 and 7. And this is going up against a player that I think most, if not all of you, will know. And if you don't know who this player is, you definitely should, because all you got to do is go to the BR leaderboards and look at the first name up there. So we start things off with me trying to get to high ground to get a better angle on Metaphor. But after I get up onto the roof, I get distracted by a riot shielder, because whenever I see a riot shield player in solos, my brain shuts off and I want to focus them down. So I take my shot at this riot shielder and I get knocked. So I pop my self revive, close the door, get inside. I then pop my head out. Metaphor is in my face, and at this point I'm cooked. So this is where skill number 6 comes into play, which is that his zipline mechanics are perfect, because first, he doesn't go all the way up the zipline, right? He only goes up to about 2/3 of the way up. He jumps off the zip, pulls out his chute immediately at the perfect height, and the first second he possibly can, he cuts it. And then we immediately jump into skill number 7 as he's dropping it on me. Watch what he does. He hip fires on the way down. And that's something that I think a lot of players underutilize. But Metaphor clearly has mastered it, and especially mastered it when attacking players out of the air. All right, so moving on to the next clip, which not only has our next skill, but our first bonus tip as well. And I really like this skill in particular because this is one that you guys can start using right away that will lead to an immediate improvement in your gameplay. So starting things off here, I'm on top of the dome. We've got our loadout, got some good loot, and I can hear this player below me. So I'm looking for him, trying to see if I can catch him. And now I can hear him about to climb up these boxes here. So I play this little ledge, as that's really all you need for cover sometimes. So, and then go to back up to see if I can catch him running into the building, plating up. Now, I don't know it at the time, but he actually re-pushed from the same angle, okay? Now, I missed some shots here, but as we jump into the kill cam, we can see skill number 8 on display. So watch what he does well. So he's in this power position on high ground. He snakes, drop shots, and look at that. Twice in that fight, in that brief fight, he transitions between hipfire and ADS. Now, why is this good? First of all, transitioning between hipfire and ADS in the middle of a gunfight allows you to correct your aim quicker and easier than if you were to stay aimed in. When you're hipfiring or not aimed in, you can lock onto your target faster than if you were. But the other thing hipfiring does is that it gives you more strafe speed and it makes you harder to hit. And that is skill number 8. Transition between ADS and hipfire in gunfights. If you're not locked onto your target, or if you're close enough that you're going to reliably hit your hipfire shots for that boost in strafe speed. Now we fast forward a bit. I'm back from the gulag. I have my load up. I'm rotating into zone when I look over to my left and I see none other than this player that just killed me. And this is where we hop into our first bonus tip of the video. And this comes from a question a viewer asked on a previous upload. Now, the question itself is what to do when someone is above you and is going to jump down onto you. And now my best advice in this situation, if you don't have any cover around you, is to try and give yourself space. So what I do, I stay right along the wall and I run down it. I turn around. I'm not ADS'd quite yet until I can see him. He then jumps down onto me and it's a very clean, very easy kill. But anyway, let's keep going because we have 5 more sweat approved skills left to cover. So let's go ahead and jump into clip number 5 and along with it, skills 9 and 10. Now, skill number 9 is specifically for you snipers out there. So in this clip, we're going up against a smart player by the name of Stronk, okay? Now, we're over here at one of the fire stations on Urzikstan, and what I'm gonna do here, since I know he's on low ground, and I can hear him over on my right at this time, I'm gonna push to once again engage from a power position. Get that high ground, and it's especially important that I do this given that I don't have a car, and he does. And now right away, what Stronk is doing well, and this is skill number 9, is that he's holding an angle with his car. He's predicting where I'm gonna be, and he's holding that down, okay? Especially with the car or any other sniper, this is one of the best things you can do to win your gunfights. And then this is where skill number 10 comes into play. And Stronk exemplifies this 2 different times in this one fight. Now, that skill number 10 is anticipate pressure. So I get some damage on him here, but what does he do? He doesn't sit there on that head glitch. He doesn't hang around. He anticipates me applying pressure. So if you think back to tip number 2, which is don't let up the pressure, this is the exact opposite of that one. When you're put at a disadvantage and coming up against a sweaty player, you need to proactively react to what they're going to do, which is push you. So before an opponent makes a move, before they can push you, you need to back up to give yourself some space, to give yourself some time to plate up and be able to re-engage in a safe way. So we do a little bit more poking around at each other. I'm snaking to make sure he doesn't push me. But this is where we get into bonus tip number 2, which is what to do in a gunfight when you don't have a sniper, but your opponent does, and they're already holding an angle. Well, you have 2 choices, one of which is what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to get a little bit of damage on him, causing him to flinch, which will cause him to hopefully miss a shot shot on me. That's one of the best things you can do against snipers at close range, is get damage on them to cause them to flinch. The other option you have here is to use your utility to do some damage, distract, or even knock your opponent like I'm trying to do with these thermites. But now, once again, I'm going to do enough damage to get a crack. So the second I get that, I'm up and pushing. Now, he's already back down the stairs. He's already behind cover on this pillar. And what happens? Well, I lose that. Watching this back, I missed some shots and could have won this fight. But at the same time, Stronk did everything right to give himself the best chance of winning that fight. All right, we have 2 clips and 3 skills left to cover. So hopefully you guys are still enjoying the video. And if you feel like you're learning a lot of tips, tools, and tricks to dominate your gunfights going forward, or maybe you've thought of someone who's trying to improve their own gunfight skills, make sure you share it with them, hit that like button, and subscribe. Anyway, let's move on to skill number 11. And this clip also has another bonus tip in it. And this clip is from one of the most memorable fights for me from this season because of how sweaty this one was. So setting the scene, we're once again in a solos match on Urzikstan. And as you can see up there in the top left, zone is on our back and we're rotating into zone. And as I get closer to zone, I turn back up to hill because I like fighting. And that's when I come across a player by the name of Kmoney. Now, I take a couple shots at him. I miss both of them. He's got a smoke down and zone is still moving. So what do I need to do, right? Because I only have 1 smoke left. I'm not in zone. And this guy has a little bit of high ground on me. So I'm just trying to rotate and work to get into cover to play from a power position. And here's our third bonus skill. One of the best ways to be successful in a straight up sniper battle is to always peek from a new or surprising position, which is what I'm trying to do here and is what also he's doing. I'm trying to anticipate where he's going to come from. I'm pre-aiming this spot. He's not there. I move around and then guess where he comes out of? The place that I was just looking at. So we're both trying to be unpredictable here. And why this is so important, right, is because you see what I do here? I re-peek this window twice and what ends up happening? I get cracked. So that right there just shows the danger of re-peeking from the same spot against a good player who has a sniper. Now at this point, there's 16 seconds left until zone moves. So I kind of have to go. I don't really have much time to sit here and poke back and forth with this guy any longer, but I do still want to fight him and try to get this kid out of the lobby. So I grab this PRD, hit this redeploy drone, and I'm doing my best to use sweat-approved skill number 1, which is engage from a power position. So I fly right back over. Now I have the high ground. Now I can engage from a good position. I have a massive advantage in this gunfight, and this is where Kmoney demonstrates skill number 11. I miss a shot, I then crack him, and man, does he hit an incredible shot here. But the skill he is demonstrating here is confidence. That is your skill number 11. To win gunfights against good players, you have to be confident. He's on the ropes here. I have the high ground. I've cracked him, and what is he gonna do? He's not even sweating. He's just gonna drop me. But the fight doesn't end there. I'm out of place at this point, so I have to loot up, and while I'm doing that, he finds me, wastes no time applying pressure, catches me trying to run out of the bus, and makes me respawn. So I hope you guys enjoyed that clip, because that was easily one of the most memorable gunfights for me of the season. So with that, let's move on to the final clip of the video and the final 2 sweat approved skills. Now this clip I think is a really good one for you guys to see, as in this endgame we're coming up against the number 11 player on the Warzone leaderboards, TrulyEviLL. And in my many days of playtime on this game, I have yet to come across a player that can output as much damage as he does. So once again, we're in a solos match on Urzikstan. As you guys can see, we have 4 sites. We know where zone is going to be ending. Now watch this. As I'm dropping in here, I get rinsed. And not only do I get rinsed, this guy flying in behind me trying to land on me gets absolutely destroyed. So right away, I can tell that this guy on top of fire, he's good at the game and he's not playing around. And this is where we hit skill number 12. While we jump into a little highlight reel of him frying me throughout the rest of this endgame. But skill number 12 is knowing how to constantly output damage at every opportunity. This player, TrulyEviLL, consistently and constantly applies damage to me throughout the entirety of this endgame. Even if I'm just shouldering, just peeking, pre-aiming with a sniper, he's basically cracking me every time. Now, the reason why this is a sweat-approved gunfight skill, or an advanced one, and one that only the best players in the game can do, is because in general, it's just hard to be this accurate and do as much damage as he is from these ranges. Now, the final skill of this video, or skill number 13, that TrulyEviLL demonstrates here is something that's more of a positioning skill, but it indirectly sets you up to win a gunfight. And that skill is keeping enemy players in front of you, or keeping dangerous areas in front of you. Now, this entire endgame, TrulyEviLL has posted up in the second to last zone, which sets him up well to win any gunfights, because if he clears his edge there, he'll have the final zone at his back, and he can just look forward and he'll always be ready for any type of gunfight. And as you can see here, due to his positioning in the zone, helped him clean me up with a little bit of damage in a bunker buster. All right, so if you guys enjoyed the video or learned a thing or 13, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So with that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.